Time for talk a little NFL action as the Washington Commanders host the Buffalo Bills coming up on Sunday. As you see along the bottom of the screen, Washington a 6.5-point underdog in this one. Total is 44.5. And right off the bat, I'll just say I feel like this is a really large number here when you take a look at these two teams. So let's start out with the Commanders, who are the home team. And normally I would say, man, there's going to be a lot of Bills fans at this game. It's going to feel like a Buffalo home game because when Daniel Snyder was the owner, Washington fans just didn't want to support him and give him the dollar bills. Now you've got a new owner. Now you've got a new attitude. Their first home game of the season was a sellout. Now, obviously, part of that was the Arizona Cardinals weren't going to have a lot of fans travel. And I'm not saying that there won't be Buffalo fans here, but I think it's going to feel predominantly like a Washington home game in this situation. I think that's a huge factor that we're certainly considering. Washington coming off the 35-33 win over Denver. You can say they held on for dear life. You could point out the fact that they probably should have lost the game or whatever, but they actually got the win. And this is the difference between the current Washington Commanders team and previous Commanders teams where they would have lost this game in the past. They would have not made the plays. They would not have gotten enough offense. Now, look, am I ready to buy into Sam Howell yet? No. But he's certainly doing what he's doing, and Brian Robinson has been the running back that they've so desperately needed the past couple of years. I'm more focusing on the 35. The other development that came out of that game last week, Chase Young looked like the Chase Young of old. And they do, Washington, if it's not the Eagles, it's the Commanders who have the best defensive line in football, and I certainly think they can take advantage of some things in this matchup. It's a concern about their secondary. It's a concern about their linebackers and things like that, but I think that their front four can get enough pressure on Josh Allen here to make a difference. Let's take a look at the Buffalo side. Buffalo coming off the really disappointing loss on Monday Night Football, so there was a desperation factor here. They couldn't start out 0-2. And of course, they beat up on the Raiders 38-10, a Raiders team who is certainly 1-1 this season. Now, I think some people will be like, Buffalo's back. They're fine. I don't necessarily know if that's the case. Yes, they looked really good against the Raiders, who were out of the time zone. They were on the East Coast. It was an early game. There's all sorts of factors here. And as I said, desperation. But I still think I need to see more from Buffalo before I just assume that they're the Buffalo teams from the past. Josh Allen's committed some turnovers. He's thrown some interceptions. He's had some issues. The ground game is pretty good. It's not, it's not terrible, but it's not something that they can overly rely on. And the one other thing that I think you consider here, and this is, how much do you consider look aheads? They're hosting Miami next week. Rather large game in the division. These two teams, Miami and Buffalo, are probably going to be fighting for first place in this division. So you certainly want to defend home field. Now, that's not to say that Buffalo is going to be pulling starters like we're talking college football or anything like that. But it's just something to consider here when you have this large spread and you have a team that has a larger game coming up. Maybe there is a little bit of a lack of focus in this one. So I'm heavily leaning towards Washington. If for some reason you feel like you want to be a little more comfortable, go find yourself a cheaper 7. Go buy the half a point, make it an even 7, whatever it is. But I feel like Washington's the play here. I would even consider sprinkling just a little bit on the money line. Not enough that if you lose, you get overly unhappy, but just a little bit, just in case they win this game outright. I don't necessarily think they will, but I do think they'll cover the 6.5 or the 7 if that's where you want to go. Could this be one of my client plays? You could potentially find out if you use the promo code MATT3, 3-day pass for only $39. May I recommend a Friday? Friday, you get a little Major League Baseball, maybe a little college football if I decide to throw something in there. Saturday will definitely be a college football, fresh off another 6-2 Saturday. And then a little NFL, whether it's props, whether it's sides, whether it's teasers, whatever it is, you could certainly check me out. MATT3 is the promo code, 3 days for $39. Make sure to check out all the preview videos, whether it's college football, whether it's the NFL, whether you're a baseball fan, you can go check out First Pitch. Or if you're a prop fan, prop it up Fridays and Mondays with me, Andrew McGinnis and Andy Lang. You can find that all here in the YouTube Wager Talk channel. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. You'll never miss a video if you do. Mid-Major Matt, sign off.